Hi all, my name is Gaurav. In previous video, we talked about method level dependency injection. In this video, we'll talk about the circular dependency problem. This problem basically occurs when we use constructor level dependency injection. So we'll replicate this circular dependency problem using a scenario. Okay, so scenario is we have an e-commerce application and it is consuming two services, order service and payment service. So payment service is dependent on order service because to process the payment, it requires the order details. And the order service dependent on the payment service because to complete the cycle of a order like search product, add to cart, then make payment. So for that, it is dependent on the payment service. So both are dependent on each other. Okay, so let's try to replicate in program. I already have that. Let me just delete this. Okay. Now I have one order class. This order class has some order attribute like quantity, product name, price, and the order ID. Okay. And once we create this order, we need to pass all quantity, product name, price, and it generates a order ID at runtime. And this order ID gets assigned to this order ID variable. Now we have a order service. Order service is dependent on payment service because to process order, it requires a process payment of payment service. It has one more functions get order where we pass a order ID and it returns a details, order details. Okay, full order object for the given order ID. Currently, I am creating a new order, which is just a dummy code, but in real time, the data would be fetched from the database. Okay, for the given order ID. Now we have payment service. In payment service, it is dependent on the order service. Okay, why it is dependent on the order service? Because to process the payment, it fetches, let's say, all order details for the given order ID. Okay, and then it processes that order. So in payment service, how I'm injecting this order service? So I am injecting it via constructor level injection. So I am creating an object of payment service and inside that I am passing the order service. So whenever I'll create payment service object, Java will enforce me to pass the order service object. Okay. Similarly, what I'll do, I'll go here. Now payment service, order service requires payment service. So how to inject the dependency of payment service in order service? We will create a constructor of order service. Order service, and here we will pass payment service. Perfect. And here I'll say this start payment service is equal to payment service. Perfect. So similarly, whenever I'll create a order service object, because order service constructor is taking a payment service object, so Java will enforce me whenever I'll create a order service object, you need to pass payment service object in a constructor. So basically, that is how it will look like. Let me recreate. Let's say first I am creating a order service. Order service is equal to new order service. So it is asking me payment service. Okay. Now, if I create a payment service object, then it requires a order service. It requires a order service. So now I am in a loop. Why can't I do this new payment service? I can do in this way as well, correct? and again. But again here I need to pass a order service object, which is not possible for me. So you may say that, okay, you can say new order service, but again here I need to pass a payment service. So it's a loop. I cannot come out of this loop. Okay, so this is circular dependency. Now how to break this circular dependency? So to break this circular dependency in one of the service, we will have to use the method level injection. How to use method level injection? So instead of the constructor, what I'll do in one of the service, let's say in order service, I'll create a setter method. Let's say public void set payment service, and here I'll pass. Similarly, I was doing in constructor. Instead of constructor, I'll do it in method, setter method. And here I'll say this dot payment service is equal to payment service. Okay. So now, whenever I require a payment service, I need to explicitly call this set payment service method. Okay. So now, how will I utilize those service? Because payment service is dependent on while I'll be creating a object of payment service, it requires a order service. Okay, so first I'll create a order service object. Perfect. It will work because it does not take any parameter in constructor. Now I'll create a payment service is equal to new payment service, and here I can pass the order service object which I created here. Perfect. So that is how I am breaking the circular dependency via method injection. I hope this is clear. Thank you.